Welcome to step 5 out of 7 on how to solve the Rubik's Cube using only 4 moves. In the previous step we solved the white cross. Now we have to correctly position the corners. Here all the corners are correctly positioned. You may wonder, but wait, the corners are not solved. But remember, we didn't say to solve the corners, but to correctly position. What this means? It means that we take the look at the colors of the corners except white. Here we have blue and orange. The corner is in the correct position. It is between the orange and blue center. Again, here we have red and blue. It is correctly positioned because it is between red and blue centers. Here again we have green and red. It is correctly positioned because it is between green and red centers. And last corner, green and orange, again it is correctly positioned because it is between orange and green center. So this is a solved case, but you may find these two unsolved cases. Let's put the correct case here and let's take a look at the first case. Here you have only two correctly positioned corners. Green orange between orange and green, and orange blue between orange and blue center. These two are correctly positioned, but these two are not. Red and blue is between red and green, so it's not correct. And here red and green is between red and blue center. So these two corners have to be swapped between them. These two here swapped. Again, we keep the white center on top. On all the steps we keep the white center on top. And here we keep the corners that have to be swapped to the right. These corners have to be swapped between them. We keep them to the right and apply these moves. Write the algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now we rotate the cube to the right and apply the lefty algorithm 3 times again. 1, 2, and 3. And now the corners have been swapped and all the corners are in the correct position. Let's check. As you can see, here the corner is not in the correct position, but if we rotate the top layer, look, the corners are in correct position. Red and blue between red and blue, orange and blue between blue and orange, orange and green between orange and green, green and red between green and red. So first you have to rotate the top center to determine in which case you are. Because as you can see, if I do just one turn, it may look that all the 4 corners are not in the correct position. But that's not true. If you just rotate the top side, you will get in one of the 2 cases. One, when you have to swap 2 corners, one near each other. And the second case here, when you have to swap 2 corners, but diagonally. Look, here the corner is in the correct position, blue and orange between centers, orange and blue. This one is not correct, red and blue between orange and green. But this one is correct, red and green between green and red center. And this one is not correct again, green and orange between red and blue. So we have to swap these 2 corners diagonally. In this case, when you have to swap diagonally 2 corners, you just hold a correct position corner to the right and apply the moves from the previous case. I mean to swap these 2 corners to each other. Apply the formula once. Write the algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Rotate the cube to the right. Left the algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now we swapped 2 corners to each other, and now for sure you will not have to swap 2 corners diagonally anymore. Now you got to the first case. Look, here is a correct position corner, here is another correctly positioned corner, blue and red between blue and red, blue and orange between orange and blue. And now we have to swap only these 2, like in the first case. Again, we apply those moves. Write the algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Rotate the cube to the right. Left the algorithm 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And now all the corners are correctly positioned. We just have to rotate the top layer a bit. Look, let's rotate this red and blue between red and blue. Good. Red and blue between blue and red. And now all the corners are correctly positioned. See you in the next video with step 6.